You're welcome to this edition of the Power Circuit, a program brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to inform you about its efforts towards advancing bulk power transmission and its other roles in the power sector. Here are the top stories. Minister of Power dissects the gains of the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative. Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi, lawmakers meet TCN management on power transmission projects. TCN installs 150 MVA transformer at 330, 132, 33 kilovolts just transmission substation to boost bulk power evacuation. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. Thanks for being with us. On the minister's desk this week, the Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, highlights the gains of the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative. The end-to-end power deal backed by the government of Germany and the federal government led by President Muhammadu Buhari seeks to overhaul the power system's apparatus towards giving Nigerians improved access to electricity. Engineer Maman speaks on this.
Well, the Siemens Power Deal is a bilateral power improvement project conceived by President Muhammadu Buhari to rehabilitate and then expand the national grid. As we know, not all Nigerians have access to power, and even those who have suffer from irregular power supply. So, the Siemens project is here to upgrade the national dilapidated power infrastructure. The deal is monumental for this sector for the following reasons. The early phases of delivery 1 and 2 will improve the grid's operational capacity and open up corridors for evacuation that will greatly reduce the burden of delivered capacity, which is costing the sector so much. Investors will be more confident on participation in the sector as the grids achieve more functional operational capacity. This will also reduce financing costs as the evacuation risk fades away. This could possibly mean cheaper projects in the future, resulting in enhanced value to Nigerians. In the long time, we can expect more generation capacity to come on stream as the grid becomes more capable and robust. Specifically, achieving phase 3 will make this possible as the grid expands beyond the country installed capacity. The timeline are visible for the following reasons. First and foremost, let me state that Siemens were chosen because they are the best in the business and have already undertaken similar initiative elsewhere in Egypt and Iran, operating in the local environment, which means we will have no issues in the implementation process. Secondly, the timeline is fixed at 5 years. Implementation in 3 phases, which has commenced already. Phase 1 focuses on quick wins measures to increase end-to-end operational capacity to 7 gigawatts. Phase 2 targeted expanding the capacity of the transmission and distribution system to enable evacuation of up to 11 gigawatts of electricity to end users. Then Phase 3 targets expanding power grids to 25 gigawatt capacity through further expansion of the generation, transmission and distribution system. To address this specific concern, We saw a need and indeed opted to institutionalize the project. Hence, the President earlier approved an institutional framework that consists of a government-sponsored special purpose vehicle capitalized by the Ministry of Finance to, among others, serve as a regulator, as a guarantor of the project, representing the federal government in the Presidential Power Initiative negotiation. Most importantly is to assure partners, the cement group, that Mr. President and indeed the federal government is totally committed to successful implementation of the agreement, and the much awaited time to fix the power sector has arrived with the cement project. The future now looks bright. There has never been such effort to holistically revive the entire value chain of electricity industry in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President, for bringing back the power sector to life. Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Ebonyi State Governor, Dr. Dave Umahi, alongside members of the National Assembly, have paid a courtesy visit to the management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to discuss the completion of ongoing transmission projects in the state.
Speaking during the visits, Governor Umahi of Ebonyi State congratulated the acting managing director and CEO of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, while assuring the management team of his support towards completing power transmission projects in the state. The governor highlighted the steps he has taken towards clearing some bottlenecks to allow TCN continue its power transmission projects, especially the transmission line and towers that will connect the Amasiri substation in the states.
The enumeration was said to be a problem. I convened a meeting of the property owners along the line, and I pleaded with them to allow TCN to work while you go ahead and complete your enumeration. That's been done. There is improvement in the work at the injection station at Amasiri. Some more equipment have come, but it's useless and is subject to vandalization if the transmission is not done.
He called on TCN to accelerate work pace at other transmission project sites, including the Omohara Transmission Substation project, where 2 units of 150 MVA power transformer will be installed. Responding, the acting MD and CEO of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, assured the governor of Ebonyi State that things would change for the better.
First of all, you are aware that I'm new here, but at least I spent 3 months, and things are going to change. You are commissioner. You say you have put him there, you think that you will see result.
Yes.
I think now you are going to give him second term. Yes.
Engineer Abdulaziz further clarified the status of the various transmission projects being executed by TCN in Ebonyi State.
On the substation at Amasiri,
Yes, sir.
which is done by North China,
Yes,
I don't think we have a lot of challenges there.
yes, sir.
So I think that project is up to 80% completion. So you don't have to come here again, sir. We will come here to commission the project.
In his remarks, the Executive Director of Transmission Service Provider at TCN, Engineer Victor Adewumi, said there is an MOU that the state government will handle the civil works for the Amasiri transmission projects. Concluding, the TCN acting MD, Engineer Abdulaziz, reassured the governor that the company and its management team will do its best to complete the power transmission projects in the state.
We'll bring you more informative reports after this break.
Do you know know that vandalizing power infrastructure and stealing its components have negative impact on government's efforts towards improving the nation's power sector? Say no to vandalism. Vandalism leaves TCN with the enormous task of re-erecting and restringing damaged power transmission lines and towers, which cost millions of naira to rebuild. Money that should be used for transmission expansion projects to make increased bulk electricity readily available to electricity consumers through the distribution companies. Do you know that vandals are destroying our common national assets, funded with taxpayers' monies, and negatively impeding our common socio-economic progress? Say no to vandalism. Do not condone vandals, because stealing parts of electricity transmission towers and cables disrupts the transmission of generated power to distribution load centers, threatening the national grid, your comfort, and ultimately the nation's economic growth. So don't just walk away. Be involved. Do something when you observe suspicious activities around transmission installations or even vandals at work. Don't just walk away. Report to any transmission office closest to you or any security outfit around your vicinity. Say no to vandalism. TCN enjoins you to work with us to stop the willful destructions of our collective national assets as we work to transmit increased bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner. This message is brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. TCN. TCN, transmitting bulk electricity for national development.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, interfaces between the generation companies and the distribution companies to evacuate bulk power for onward delivery to the end users, among other functions. Here are more things you should know about this power utility company.
The job of TCN entails maintaining a network of power transmission infrastructure, which are the transmission lines and associated substations at the voltage level of 330 and 132 kV, with an independent system operator to manage the national grid. The national grid is a network of interconnected power generation, transmission and distribution facilities for the purpose of providing a reliable power supply in a cost-effective manner. TCN has its presence in all 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Capital Territory, as well as 3 other lines supplying the West African Power Pool, WAP. TCN does not distribute electricity. TCN only evacuates bulk electricity from the GENCOs to DISCOs load centers. TCN was issued 2 operational licenses. They are the Transmission Service Provider, TSP, the Independent System Operations, ISO. The ISO, on the other hand, comprise the System Operator and Market Operator, MO. TCN is solely an agency of the Federal Government of Nigeria and reports to the Minister of Power, Engineer Sale Mamman.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, on behalf of the West African Power Pool, WAP, hereby inform the public that the Congrès International de Grand Réseau Électrique, or the International Council of Large Electric Networks West Africa National Committee, has been inaugurated. It is the West African arm of the global community for the collaborative development and sharing of power system expertise. The acting MD CEO of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, has also been appointed as the acting chairman of the West African National Committee of the international body. The West African Committee joins 60 other national committees with highly resourceful and professional bodies that make up the global body with headquarters in France. The global body has members from all over the world, comprising over 90 countries and about 1,250 corporate organizations. It has its office within the WAP Secretariat, Cotonou, Benin Republic. It will manage, develop, and implement all the international body's activities within the 15 countries of West Africa. The West African National Committee presently has a coordination desk in TCN headquarters in Abuja. Member countries will benefit from the scientific and academic communities in electrotechnics and electromechanics. Students and consultants in electrical energy and technicians working in the field of power generation, transmission and distribution, as well as manufacturers of electrotechnical materials and equipment.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria has trained another batch of its system operators on Power Purchase Agreement (PPA).
TCN recently concluded the training of the first batch of system operators during a workshop titled Understanding Power Purchase Agreements in Abuja. During the second batch of the training in Abuja, the Executive Director, Independent System Operation at TCN, Engineer Mamman Lawal, enjoined the participants to take active part in the workshop so they can make the most of the knowledge they are acquiring. He also enjoined them to acquire more knowledge on the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NESI.
We should make it a habit to visit, the websites periodically. And I made mention of the system operator website, the ONEM website, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission website. All right, it is important that we do so. I observe that we have a lot of information on these sites, okay, and we stand to be informed properly on the dynamics in the NESI.
Highlighting the essence of the training being conducted by TCN for its staff members, Engineer Lawal said there is more commitment from the management to promote structured training programs.
There's a commitment, okay, to develop a structured training program that will cover all facets, okay, of our operations.
A transmission systems consultant for the World Bank's Nigeria Power Support Program at TCN, Dr. Shehu Amoda, in the sideline interview, disclosed the expected impacts of the training.
This is the second part of the training. From the last set, we've not finished this one, but from the feedback we got from the first part of the training, it has made a tremendous impact, and they've learned a lot, and they've also promised that they will use what they've learned when they get back to their respective station. And I think this will also have a great impact on the system in general. There will be better delivery of service, and there will be improvement in also quality of service being delivered by them.
The Assistant General Manager, Regulation, Compliance and Market Development of the ISO at TCN, Engineer Ali Bukar Ahmed, at the concluding session of the 5-day training program, adjudged it to be an interactive process.
We have seen what is happening from Oshogo. We have started receiving the result already. And our own problem is how to sustain it now, improve on it and sustain it at the same time. And I'm very sure we are all ready to do that.
One of the participants at the workshop, Engineer Meiwada Mustafa from the TCN National Control Center in Oshogo, spoke about what he learned as a power grid controller.
Having understood the PPA, we don't find fault with it as we used to, and definitely we will stream our operations and our responsibilities towards ensuring that the PPA works as it's actually been designed to work. It has not been designed to fail. It will work.
Towards improving bulk power transmission capacity in Plateau State and its environs, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has installed a 150 MVA power transformer at the 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Just transmission substation in Plateau State. Here is the complete report.
At the 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Just transmission substation, the Acting Assistant General Manager Just Sub-Region under the Bauchi region of TCN, Engineer Tijani Ahmadu, said the new 150 MVA transformer was installed to replace a burnt transformer.
It was the old one that burnt due to aging. Because that transformer is almost about 60 years old, on the installation. So you know that when transformers stay long like that, you may expect that. So now but this is a new one that we are installing. But the installation is almost about 90%. If you can see, these are the structures. It's part of the gantries that we are now installing.
Engineer Ahmadu said after the gantries are fixed, the transformer will be energized to improve the bulk power wheeling capacity of the transmission substation.
These structures is part of the gantries that we are installing. So very soon we are going to energize. So the installed capacity of this transformer, of this substation, is going to be 300 MVA instead of 150. As you can see, we have 150 already in service, which is 330, 132 kV.
He said the transformer installation was done by in-house engineers of TCN, noting that it was a turnaround for the company in terms of capacity building.
Most of this, not only reactor, if you can see the 150 MVA. In fact, in the history of TCN itself, this year, 300 MVA was even commissioned somewhere in one of our stations. So now, it's not a challenge. This is part of our work. We enjoy it. In fact, it's part of encouragement, which we can do it ourselves. We have the knowledge, we have the capacity, we can do it. So all these 75 MX, both the first one and the second one, all is being done in-house. Nobody will come and solve our problem except ourselves. We know our own system. It's we that will handle it. So it's good that if you can be encouraged to do more.
The TCN official who explained the significance of the Jos transmission substation said it is the gateway to evacuating bulk power to major parts of the northeastern states of Nigeria.
We send power up to the Maiduguri, through Damaturu, via Gombe. Then from Gombe also to Jos, Yola. So Jos, is very sensitive. Here is the main activities here that is taking place here. Once we have no power here, those states, almost about 7 to 8 states, there's no power.
Meanwhile, the senior manager system operations supervising the 330, 132, 33 kV Jos substation, Engineer Samson Megari, said the substation covers Plateau State and evacuates bulk power to other neighboring states.
Our coverage area includes Bauchi, some part of Kaduna, and then the whole of Plateau State.
He said several power projects were delivered at the substation in the last 2 years, as he also spoke about the maintenance schedule for the power transmission substation.
We have the 75 MX reactor. We have the new 150 MVA transformer also, and then we have the 60 MVA, 132 33 kV transformer. We have plans to also add another 300 MVA transformer to boost the capacity of the station, and then another 120 MVA at the 132 33 kV side.
As we sign out on this episode, let's take a look at the stories again. Minister of Power dissects the gains of the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative. Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi and some federal lawmakers from the state have met with TCN management on power transmission projects in the state. TCN has installed a 150 MVA transformer at the 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Jos transmission substation to boost bulk power evacuation. Thanks for staying with us on this edition of the Power Circuit. You can view this episode and others on TCN YouTube channel. Please interact with us on these platforms because TCN needs your support to advance its mandate. Coronavirus is real and tens of thousands have died globally. in spite of the decline in reported cases as announced by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC. Please keep observing the safety protocols and stay safe. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. See you next week.